Again, Islam.
Islam.
Who made you?
Allah.
Who is Allah?
Allah is the Father of the universe.
Can we see him?
No.
Where is the nearest place we can meet him?
In the heart.
Who is Noble Drew Ali?
He is Allah's prophet.
What is a prophet?
A prophet is the call of Allah manifested in the flesh.
What's the duty of a prophet?
Save nations from the wrath of Allah.
Who is the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America?
Noble Drew Ali.
What year was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
1913
Where?
AD.
Where was Noble Drew Ali born?
In the state of North Carolina, 1886.
What is his nationality?
Moorish America.
What is your nationality?
Moorish America.
Why are we Moorish America?
Because we are descendants of Moroccans and born in
For
America.
what purpose was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
For the uplifting of all humanity.
How did the prophet begin to uplift the Moorish America?
By teaching them to be themselves.
What is our religion?
Islam is
What is Islamism? What is it quickly? Without no. What is Islamism?
practice of Islam.
All right. It is the practice of what?
Peace.
Peace. Or Islam, because Islam what?
Means peace.
So we're saying the same thing, just interchanging words. But the key in that word, the key in that statement, or the key in that response is what word?
Peace.
Practice. The key is practice. You won't even know peace until you what?
Practice.
You got to practice it to know it. You won't even know what peace is if you don't practice it. We can stand up here all day long and say Islamism is the practice of peace, and if you don't practice it, how will you know what it is? And if you don't know, what are you doing? What are you doing when you don't know?
Yes.
You're guessing. You're thinking that what? Perhaps this is an accurate statement. Until you're shook down. Now when you get shook down, your foundation is shaky. You're not sure. And when you're not sure, your indecisiveness can start to play on your doubt. Now, here comes other things that someone can tell you. That sounds similar, but he makes his words what? So it can sound similar, but by you not knowing, it's easy for you to do what? It's too easy for you to do what? Assume that is correct. And in your assumption, you make the attempt to do what? To stand on it or spread it. Now you become a carrier of a false what? Statement. Yeah. And just don't think about this part of it. This is the part that we don't pay attention to. Suppose what you're carrying is a lie. And he who lies on Allah or his prophet creates a terrible doom for himself. And ignorance is no excuse. So you need to know what you're talking about. So when you're talking about your religion, you need to know what you're talking about. Right.
Islam, and if you find that you're doing that, we need to make a speedy reparation.
Yes. And when you note that you're doing that, what must you be to help you to make that reparation? Humble.
Be humble.
You got to be. Because if you're not humble, your arrogance will prevent you from admitting that I am in what? Error. Because remember, when you're running off at your mouth not knowing what you're talking about, you're seeking the applause of your brothers. And that applause feeds your ego. And it reinforces your thinking that you know more than what you really do. So the more you accept that you know more than what you really do, the more difficult it becomes for you to say, I don't know. Can you imagine what it is going through life, not admitting that you don't know and pretending that you do? Trying to persuade others to believe what you're saying is true? Don't you know a man that don't know will argue his point?
Yes, he will.
He'll get in arguments, and you will find out that there'll be many arguments. And what comes from arguments? What's bred in an argument?
Chaos.
Chaos.
Anarchy.
In arguments, what else is displayed? Because a certain spirit is being bred. Anger. Right. What is a byproduct of anger? It is, but misunderstanding brings about the anger. What is a byproduct of anger? Hate. Dislike. Dislike is just another name for hate. And when one becomes angry, what is his personal display? Come on, what is it? When you're angry, what do you display? Hostility. Come on, Mo. Think about it, Mo. Remember, there is a series of events that follow choice. When you're angry, there is a series of events. When you're argumentative, there is a series of events. A series of events that come into play. Because you know what happens? They rush in 1,000 at a time. Come on, my sister.
I was thinking passion builds that.
Yes,
and
my
you
sister.
cannot think, you can't
Yes.
be reasonable when you're talking to somebody or trying to get their point across, because all you can see is just your point.
That's right. That's right. Come on, Mo.
No, I didn't see that too, Brother Grandsheet, because a happy person don't display hostility.
Right. You know, a wise person doesn't. Ignorance or hostility that comes from anger comes from a person that's weak. Because he lacks what? Self-control. A wise person knows that for him to make any type of point, he must be under control. Because a wise person knows to talk as much as the foolishness of folly. And not to indulge in conversations that may bring about an argument.
That's right.
A wise person can see it as it starts to develop. And then when you see it, that's trouble. Now what must you do? Go the other way. So let it manifest. I mean, as it starts to go through its manifestation stage, you can note it if you're wise. The question is, are you weak? Because if you're weak, you can be pulled right into it. All right. How long has that been?
About 2,000 years ago.
What was the nationality of Ruth? What is the modern name for Moabites? Where's the Moroccan Empire? What's the modern name for Mexico? What is the title given to our ruler in Morocco? Where do we get the name Jesus? What does the name Jesus mean?
Jesus means justice.
Did the angel give to the child that was called Jesus a holy name?
Yes, they cannot be used by those who are slaves to sin.
What is an angel?
An angel is thought of God manifesting in human flesh.
What are angels used for?
To carry a message to the four corners of the world to all nations.
What is our prophet to us?
He is an angel of God who is sent to bring us the everlasting gospel of God.
And one thing that we all can note about angels, and that is what?
Comes with a message.
Huh?
Comes with a
He
message.
comes to do the work of love.
Yes, they do bring messages. But what is a very important, what is one of the very important characteristics of an angel?
Their will.
Say it, Mo.
Their will.
Their will. Because their will was never strong for what?
To debase themselves, tear themselves away.
Because they held what? They held their ethers in what? In harmony. Their will is so strong that they did not become disassociated with Allah. They brought the message. They stood on the message. They are the message that they bring. they don't do anything. They do not deviate from the word of God. That's one of the reasons why you can rely on your prophet. Because to us, he is an angel. He does not deviate. Everything that he brought to us must be what? Must be practiced, but it must be what? It is truth. Yes, but it must be what?
Protected.
You're going around the barn. Must be obeyed. Yeah. But why go through all that? I mean, you know what I mean? Look what you step in going around the barn.
Oh, boy.
Look. That's right. So we're talking about he must be obeyed. Don't you know that you even got to obey the prophet when you may not understand?
That's right.
You may not understand why he said do this. But I do what to the prophet? I what?
Obey.
Yeah, but you must what?
Yeah.
You must trust him.
Yeah.
Now you can't trust the prophet if you have not followed some type of instruction that he has given.
Came out on the other side of the results.
Because you can't. Other than that, you don't know. You simply guess. You have to have experienced something to let you know that he knows what he's talking about. I'm going to try something else. Because if you haven't, that means you are subject to be influenced by false prophets. You do know that they are false prophets, right?
Yes, sir.
And you do know that their whole intent is to get you to believe in what?
Yeah.
Their teachings.
Yes, or false teachings. So for you to really understand for you to even understand how important the divine instruction is to your development and growth, you must have had to experience something that the prophet has told you that you feel as though you can rely on him giving you the truth. Got to be something. You got to have gone through something. Because if you are to know, you must what? So therefore, you have to have gone through something. The question is, can you identify what it is? Can you identify what you have gone through to make me accept the fact that I got through it only because I was guided?
If you're practicing, you should be able to acknowledge it.
That's right, if you're practicing. That's right. That's right. And if you were practicing, or if you are practicing, that makes you a religious person. You do know that, right? Mm-hmm. That's the key. The key has come, we have come to the point in this whole situation called the new era of time where we have to be what we know. We've reached that point now in the development of your spirit. You need to know. Because there's a lot of people out there spreading falsity. There's a lot of people out there that's putting out information that they think just because they pull it up off the internet that is correct. You got to know. You got to know when you hear it that you can say, no, something about that ain't quite right. Something ain't right about that. Now I heard it, but it just ain't right. And that's when you will start to acknowledge the fact that you hear or you know the sound of his voice. See, when you can hear things, and when you're hearing it, you can determine as to whether or not it is accurate. Then you hear the sound of his voice. Because people can talk well. People have studied certain things that they can expound upon. And in their expounding upon it, you can be mesmerized because they know what they're talking about that thing. They know that. how will you know if it fits into what you're trying to do? Because the clearest what? The clearest of human knowledge. Listen, the clearest of human knowledge is what? Now we're talking about divine knowledge. See, these divine knowledge supersedes human knowledge. As a matter of fact, divine knowledge helps you to see with the inner eye the human knowledge. Don't you know you can go into human knowledge with the divine eye and determine whether or not it's accurate? If it's something that you should try to apply for yourself. Or it's just information that you have gathered by way of your experiences, but your experiences reveal to you certain truths if you're able to decipher it. And that's what we're trying to train ourselves. You got to train yourself to hear the sound. You just don't hear the sound because you wake up one morning and say, I heard the prophet. No, that may not have been the prophet. That may have been the one who makes his words in resemblance. But his business, his whole business, look, his whole business is to deceive you. Saying what you think or no, saying what you like to hear. And then he can take the words and interchange the words and make you think, the prophet said it. He'll say quick, well, you know, the prophet says. But you got to examine those who keep on saying, the prophet said, the prophet said, the prophet said. You got to examine and make sure that that's what the prophet says. That's right. Because I have learned that they say the prophet says something just to get you to go along with it. That's right. You got to make sure that the prophet said it. Well, how would you know if you don't know the sound? If you don't know the sound of his voice, you may go for it. That's why it's important to train yourself. You got to train yourself. Where did he go? Where did he teach?
India,
How long did he teach?
18 years.
What did Jesus say that would make you free?
Truth.
What is truth?
Truth is all.
What is all?
All is
Can
love.
truth change?
Truth cannot change or pass away.
What other name do we give the truth?
Holy
What
Bread.
did you say about holy bread?
All we say is great, is good, it was, it is, and ever going to be. Amen.
At what place on earth was at what place on earth was the physical part of man formed?
In the Garden of Eden.
Where's the Garden of Eden?
In the land of Canaan, the city of America.
What is the modern name for the Garden of Eden?
America.
Good. What does the Lord self breathe?
Hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything in harms.
What did the higher self say to the lower self at one time when he met him?
Where are you going, Satan?
What was the answer that the lower self gave to the higher self?
I am going to and fro the earth, seeking whom I may devour.
Has he finished his task of devouring?
Yes.
When was his time declared out?
When they held Jesus on the cross.
What are the last words Jesus uttered?
It is finished.
What did he mean?
Yeah,
Gotcha. What did he mean? What does it mean? It is finished. What is he talking about?
I'm thinking the ending of the suffering.
The ending of
You
the
don't
suffering.
gotta fight itself no more.
That's good. That's real good. Come on.
He had conquered the Lord self.
He had conquered the lower self. Okay, what else do you think it meant?
It's not.
Come on.
But we don't talk. I think it's leave at that early time
Yeah.
with the exception of everybody else said
Yeah.
it is finished. That early time, whatever his task was or mission the law sent them to do,
Yeah.
it was finished
Okay.
at that period of time, like a time schedule.
Okay.
Because as we go on and explains to it.
Okay. Okay. What else do you think it meant?
I think it had reference to the totality of the lessons that was being taught. There will be no more. This is it. This is what you need.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Good. What else do you think it meant?
Direct reference to the inner Satan.
Okay. Okay. Look, and that's correct. Look, no one is refuting what you're saying is correct, because I agree with you. But it also has another meaning that's very important. It tells you in the book. He was the what?
First.
The first. He was the first of all the race to do what?
Transmuted.
He transmuted it, but what did he prove? The possibilities of man. He proved that man could not die.
Conquered death.
He conquered it. Painted on the walls of time a rainbow for the sons of men. Come on, Mom.
Because they use that
Yes.
to keep you in fear,
Yes.
death,
Yes.
you know, and that was one of the tactics
Yes.
that they used.
Yes.
Peace.
Yes. Yes. See, they can induce fear when they say, if you don't do what I tell you, I'm going to kill you. Kill me. See, we have to overcome the fear ourselves. Who knows how long it will take to do so after it has been inbred in us for so long? The only way that you can even become acquainted with the fact that you can die is that you got to practice. Come on.
And that's one of the reasons why, for me, it's important to study Jesus, because Jesus showed you that, and he knew what was going to happen to him.
Yeah.
You know, it was revealed to him, and he went through with his mission.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, when you say it, that's why it's important that we study Jesus. I do agree with you in that regard.
Yeah.
I think I'll say this. Because you know, prophet is Jesus.
It's Jesus too. Yeah.
So what I think is accurate in saying is that that's why we want to study Jesus during his era.
His era. Okay. Praise the Lord.
Because many things took place in Jesus' era
Right.
that has a profound effect on us today.
Praise the Lord.
See, remember, the prophet came to reinforce what he did as Jesus.
Praise the Lord.
He came to reinforce what he did as Jesus, and speaking to us in the way he spoke to us then that we did not necessarily comprehend. But he came to those who were with him 2,000 years ago. Because of the continuation, you can now comprehend what he was about. More so than we could then.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
Because of the developmental stage that we're presently in.
Praise the Lord.
See, those truths that he put in us when we were with him 2,000 years ago, those truths didn't go anywhere. They may have been dormant because we failed to practice. But when he made the call in this new era, those remembered, or those who heard the call, remembered. And they answered the call.
Praise the Lord.
Come on.
All those who love Jesus.
All those who love him.
Praise the Lord.
All those who heard him in the past. That's why you must recognize the sound, because truth don't change. The sound of his voice yesterday is the same sound of his voice today. It's just a new era of time. Now, as you remember, you recall the lessons from the past. You learn how to incorporate them with the lessons of the present. They start to make more sense to us using the words of today.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
Now I see what you were saying then. I didn't understand it then. I did not understand about the conflict that can't be told in words. I didn't understand about the two selves. I didn't understand that when Satan was asked, where are you going? I'm talking to myself.
Praise the Lord.
I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that when I'm looking for Satan, devil, Lucifer, Satan, devil, dragon, and beast, I don't look outside. I understand now that the fight is inward,
That's right. Teach me.
not outward.
That's right.
And the fight is not with no one but myself.
Praise you, Lord.
And now, I I got to be aware of the fact that since I know these things, I know that I have a lower self like other people. And I also know that he who is Satan still is still seeking out who he may devour. That's the piece.
Praise the Lord.
See, when Jesus said, when the higher self said to the lower self, where are you going, Satan? Remember, don't you have a higher self?
Yes, sir.
Don't you have a lower self?
Yes, sir.
Don't you know they communicate?
Yes, sir.
That's you asking yourself. Like the higher self and Jesus had to ask himself. We can't say it's finished, because it's not with us yet. It's finished with him, and he proved that it could be done.
That's right.
Come on, Mom.
In Japan, Brother Branch, you know what self is seated upon the throne by what you breathe.
There's no question. That was one of the major key elements that help us to see. If we can see without our passions. Because to be just, you got to hear without your passions. But if you're in your passions, your wrongdoing can appear to be right.
That's right.
That's right.
And you can feel justified in what you're doing. He did it to me, I'm doing it to him. That ain't right.
Praise the Lord.
You should be able to note at this stage in your development that there are two.
That's right. That's right.
And that from those two, they both act different. Come on, Mom.
Certain principles
Yes.
freeze us.
Yes.
Certain principles
Enslaves us.
you have to constantly be conscious of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which one you're dealing with. That's right. Even though the other can make it appear to be right what you do when it is not right according to the divine laws of God.
That's right.
Come on.
And that goes back to when you was talking about practicing.
Yes. Yes.
Practicing, because we got to stay in tune
Yes.
with our higher self.
Yes. Yes.
Right? And we can recognize these things.
Yes.
But if we don't practice,
Yes.
we start falling out of sync.
That's right. You
And
fall.
that connection
Yes.
is
It gets more difficult to plug in.
exactly.
See, it's easy to slip into darkness.
It's hard to get out of it.
Because how do you recognize that you're in the darkness
Right.
when so many are in the darkness with you
And the disguises,
doing the same thing?
And the disguises can fool you.
See, you're now amongst those when you're in the darkness who are breeding the same things that you're breeding. Or you would, if you wasn't breeding it, you wouldn't be in the dark. So now the appearances that come from what's being bred, it's appearances that come. They appear. They're called reflexes. Now the reflexes start to appear. And it comes from what you are thinking. There are manifestations that come from what you think. And it's given the appearance of it's all right. The question, of course, is what is have you developed your ability to be alerted to the fact that you're in dangerous territory? See, do you hear when you enter into certain situations or certain conditions, do you hear and pay attention that something ain't right? Or do you proceed? You got to ask yourself these questions, because if you don't ask yourself these questions, how do you know whether or not you're practicing? Remember, you don't get up in the morning just taking for granted you're going to practice. Practice is a conscious effort. You got to be conscious of it. Don't think that we've reached the point where we get up and all of a sudden we're unconscious of the fact that we have to practice. Because the illusions or the appearances can bring you into an appearance that you are still somewhat partial to, and you will not realize that to be there, you would have had to not been practicing. Remember, the illusion, the appearance. The appearance is to do what? What's an appearance to do to you? Deceive you. Deceive you to make you believe something exists that doesn't.
Yes, sir.
You wake up in the morning, the whole the effort from the lower self in you is to make you see something that's not there. And what it does, in many cases, it goes back into the past and conjures up a situation that really affected you in a certain way that you felt that you were dealt with unjustly, and it'll bring it to the forefront.
Sure.
Get you in that current of thought. And you, by it being in you anyway, you ain't paying no attention to it. You're just looking at it as a passing thought. But before you know it, you're entertaining that thought. And once you entertain it, it starts to do what? Grow. Now you start to breathe. You start to breathe. And all of a sudden, your conditions change from what they were yesterday. Why is all this taking place with me? What am I doing? Man, you know, all of a sudden, you say, man, I'm having some bad luck. Well, see, the ethers done changed on you. You haven't noted it. Because you're in the illusion. You don't know that the conditions have changed because the ethers done changed, and the ethers are stimulated by the way you think.
Come on, man.
You don't even realize the change because it's so akin to you. Come on.
Islam, sir, so that so-called bad luck, I created that.
Of course. But no, not, you created the illusion of luck. See, you're trying to identify why things have changed.
Right.
Why are these things happening to me? See, you're playing the blame game now. You're outside of yourself looking for answers that's not outside, it's inside. And the whole thing is, the appearance, the whole thing is to get you outside. Because if you're outside of yourself, you can't deal with yourself because yourself is inside. You are dealing outside. You know what we deal with when we deal with outside? We're dealing with the results.
Yeah.
Exactly. We are dealing with the last stage, the manifestation. That's what we're dealing with. If you don't deal with inside, you can't stop the manifestation. That's the key. Stop it before it get out there. Because by the time it get out there, you've already proven you've lost control.
So you have to be in control of what you thinking.
You got to.
That's where it starts at.
You got to. Because it starts with thought. Thought is the cause of it all. That's why you have to watch what you think. And don't take for granted it's all right to entertain yourself with certain low thoughts. Come on, Mom.
That's why, brother, it's important that he says stay alert.
Yes, my brother. Stay alert to what, babe?
To yourself.
To yourself. That's right.
Stay alert to yourself.
That's right.
Sometimes we use that terminology, we think about outside.
That's right.
But, you know, staying alert to yourself will help you deal with the
That's
outside
right.
because he's escaping from himself.
That's right.
And he knows not why.
That's right.
But if you're not paying attention, you can just suddenly go into it.
Sure. Sure.
Willingly.
Yes. Yes.
And you wonder why this is happening, why that is happening, because basically you allow it to happen because you ain't paying attention
Exactly.
to your present concern.
Exactly.
And that's yourself.
That's right. See, more, one has to remember something. Each moment that is allotted to us provides us an opportunity to make a choice. The choice that you make is based on what has the most influence on you in that moment. Because from the choice you make in that moment depends on your future choices.
Sure.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Depends on future happiness. That's what the book tell you. Think the book talking about. You making your choices are made in the moments in your present moment. And don't you know some people make their choices in the present based on the past?
Yeah.
Don't you know people are living in the past and the present? And they don't even know it. You know what they'll say? This is what I've always done. I've always done it like this. But they never examine the results or the consequences that have come from dealing with it like that. That's the purpose of experience. Experience gives you an opportunity for the purpose of examination.
Yes.
It's a teaching tool that teaches us as to whether or not it teaches us what we're breeding. Because a lot of times, what we're breeding, we don't always pay attention to because it's always been so common to us.
Mm-hmm.
It's embedded in the mindset of the slave.
It's comfortable. It's familiar.
Of course.
And it feels good.
Of course. It stimulates certain sensitivities that give you pleasure.
And laziness is embedded in that.
Of course, it's the mentality of the slave. That's why he said, I have come to return you to that state of mind of your ancient forefathers.
Come on.
To get us out of the state of mind of this.
Come on.
Because this is what causes or perpetuates slavery. What is this I'm talking about? The illusion that was committed by the slaveholder to keep the population of the disobedient from recognizing the fact that there is a God.
Yes.
So an illusion had to be created. What was the illusion? You're black. You're black. You're black. You're black. Before you know it, you take on that mindset. It's like you ever heard about Svengali? Yeah, he was a spinster. He was an illusioner. He was an illusionist. He was an illusionist. He was an illusionist, and he created illusion. And he had one female. He had a female relationship. And he created the illusion that she became a great singer. Now, when she became this great singer, she got a whole lot of attention. And it made him angry. Because she was no longer dependent on him. And so, the key was not to let the illusion be broken. Don't break the illusion, because if you break the illusion and she comes out of it, she'll see that this is not even real. It's the same thing with being black. Don't let them come out of it. Every time they make a step to come out of it, make them colored. Every time they get to make them a Negro. Oh, wait a minute. Here they are. Make them an African American. But don't let them come out of the illusion knowing who they are. Come on.
Well, if they do, all of our testimony
Will be proven false. And I'll recognize the one who took the few pieces of silver. Because see, a few pieces of silver was paid to help to assist in the perpetuation of this state of mind. See, this is a state of mind that was reinforced by billions and billions.
That's it.
It's been promoted. It has taken billions upon trillions, and so forth and so on, to keep a certain segment of the population in mental slavery. They're not trying to let you come out. So if you don't practice this, you won't know nothing else but what is common to you. But except for what you're used to doing. You won't know nothing else. And if you don't know nothing else, how will you see anything else but the state that you presently find yourself in? And you know what you'll do when you look up in the state? See, this is what they do. Look, this is what they do. They try to give you certain things that you can attain of worth in the state of mind that you're in.
Right.
They promote your pursuit of things to keep you occupied. So if you're pursuing things, you don't think about yourself. You can't think about yourself because they have given you something that's not even real. And you don't know because you haven't left that state of mind to see that it's not real. You are still trying to promote it and justify it. You go down there and some of them people now, to some of them people, and you let them, you say that you're Moorish American, they'll beat you, they'll know you black. Where you get that name from, babe? What that mean? Oh, here you come again. We're all black. You know, so you gotta practice.
You have to.
That's what the whole conversation is geared towards. You understanding that you must be the message, not just talking. Because if you don't be it, you'll never come out of slavery. You'll just think you are. And you'll still be controlled.
Exactly.
Mentally controlled. Thinking that just because you have accumulated a few things that you have made it.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Come on, my brother.
It's fine, sir.
Yes, my brother.
You know, and another danger in that slave mentality
Yes.
is that our acceptance.
Yes, brother. Yes.
Even when it becomes, we may achieve a few material things
Yeah.
and think that something's changing.
Yes. Yes. That's
But
right.
while at the same time, because we know that there's an illusion
Yes.
that we're still under,
Yes.
and because that lower self is only going to give you the illusion of pleasure, joy, and satisfying.
Gain. That's right.
Right.
That's right.
But it's going to give you unrest, misery,
That's
and
right.
death.
That's right. That's
And
right.
when we see that and we experience that part of it,
Mm-hmm.
what we have come to accept is, well, you know, that's just how it is.
Yes. Yes. That's right.
See, our acceptance of the discomfort
Yes.
is
Yes.
what really gets us
Yes.
right now.
Yes. Yes.
It's just like the caste system.
Yes.
You know, we can't go but so far.
Right.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
can't raise up but so
That's
high.
right.
That's
That's
right.
right.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
So we put that limit on us. We put those boundaries on ourselves.
That's right. That's right.
And when it gets to be discomforting to us, our rationale is, well, you know, that's just how it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
So
That's
he'll
right.
keep us there because we figure I ain't supposed to have but so much
Anyway. That's right. That's right.
and you stay stuck.
That's right.
And you won't look to think about this ain't right.
That's right. That's right.
We'll look to think, well, I'm doing better than him.
That's right. That's right.
Praise
That's
the
right.
Lord.
See, hey, Mo,
Praise the Lord.
look, it's all about diversion.
Yes.
Keep you from yourself. Keep you outside. Here's something that someone has that you don't have, but you would like to have it. So therefore, what you do is either wish I had it like that or wish I had that. Now, if you can't get it and you wish you had it, but, cause see, I've been under conditions
Oh yeah.
in the dark world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll take it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, because you get crazy like that in the world.
Yeah.
Because see, in the world, the kernel of evolution has its rise.
That's right.
That's right.
And if I want it bad enough, and I have no other way to get it because I don't have a job, I gotta take it.
That's real.
And you can justify it to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't had no business with it anyway if I could take it. Come on.
You know, one of the other things I was thinking about when you were talking about delusion, Brother Lee, one of the things we talk about to me is the fact that they made us believe we were free.
Sure. That's the diversion. That's the
I mean,
peace.
Even though they took the chains off of us, they knew we wasn't
That's the
free.
peace, babe.
I mean, and we still walk around here believing that we're free, but until the prophet came to let us know that he's come to
Yeah.
free us from the mental slavery that
Yeah.
we had, that our freedom is not based upon the chains,
Yeah.
it's the way we think.
Yeah. 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 That's the key. But see, you know what, babe? See, this is the thing. How some of us get caught up. We learn the words, but we still practice his ways.
Come on, man.
Praise the Lord.
Like,
See, it's easy to record the words.
Yes.
So in recording the words, some of us be satisfied that we got it. But we still practice the ways.
I know, man. That's why I say the principles.
And that's the problem. The misunderstanding of what the movement is dedicated to comes from the people who won't let the ways go.
Yes.
That's the nigga with black and colored man.
That's right, Bob. That's right. Okay, let's go to the book. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, chapter 38. That is the chapter that I left on, right? Is it the chapter that I left on? Huh? You don't know? You don't know?
Yes.
You can't hold a thought that long? Chapter 38. Okay, chapter 38, Holy Instruction from the Prophet, the Soul of Man. We're talking about divine what? What are we talking about? What, y'all not with me? Y'all not hearing me? Wait a minute. Have my voice reached such a low ebb that I think I'm hearing it, but y'all not hearing it? Oh, I'm asking a question. Okay. All right. Chapter 38, Holy Instructions of what? There you go again. I think y'all can't be hearing. Y'all cannot be hearing me.
The soul.
All right. All right.
You listening, but we ain't hearing you.
Yeah, you ain't hearing. Okay. The blessing, O man, of thy external part is health, vigor, and proportion. The greatest of these is health. What health is to the body, even that is honesty to the soul. That thou hast a soul is of all knowledge, the most certain of all truths, the most plain unto thee. Be meek, be grateful for it. Seek not to know it what?
Perfectly.
Thinking, understanding. Oh, it is what?
Inscrutable.
Okay. Thinking, understanding, reasoning, willing, call not these the soul. They are as what?
Actions.
But they are not.
Its essence.
Okay. Raise it not too high, that thou be not despised. Be not thou like unto the horse. Be not thou like unto those who fall by climbing. Neither debase it to the sense of brutes, nor be like to the horse and the mule, in whom there is what?
No understanding.
So we know now that the horse and the mule don't have no understanding.
Praise the Lord.
So what does that tell you without understanding? Look at the characteristic of a horse or mule who has no understanding and think of what it would be like if you didn't have none. What is the characteristics? Say that, Mo.
You lead
You got to be led.
wherever you go. Yes.
That's right. You got to be led. And the person that leads you is the what?
Master.
The master. The master leads you to where you have to drink. The master leads you to where you have to eat. The master leads you to where you have to breathe. Don't that sound familiar? Slavery. And for real, to be quite honest with you, they already said you're not even a human being.
Slavery.
Because you're only 3/5 of a man.
Good teacher.
3/5. You're not even a whole human being. And I have that on the record books. And look, and I'm not going to tell you that you are. Why? Because I always want you to think like that horse or mule. You don't understand. And as long as I got you not understanding, I can do what? Control. Control one of the most important one of the most important facets that you have. And what's that? Thinking, yes, but more important, what is it? Okay. Tell me something else.
Reasoning.
Tell me something else. They are trying to control what?
So,
Yes, no question.
Mind.
Your mind. Why? Why is it so important that I gain control of your mind?
Cause you
that's what
you
you
ain't
said.
thinking, they can think for you, whatever.
Right,
Things
right.
are made-
Automatic control.
Say it, Mo.
Things are made in the mind.
Things are made in the mind. I can make you what I want you to be
Mm.
once I gain control of your mind. But for me to be able to control your mind, I can't tell you or you can't know who you were. Because I will not be successful grabbing your mind to put what I want in it so that what can be made is what I want made if you know who you are. I got to destroy all that. I got to make it that you got a blank mind. And I can enter in there with my thinking and cause whatever I think about you to be made by you.
Wow. That's real. That's real.
That's the deal. And that's what we're competing against. That's what we're working against. Trying to give this aid and assistance to help our people understand that their minds must be free. And the only way that we can get that to take place is that the prophet uses us so that we can be used as examples to help those who think their condition can be better to return to the state of their ancient forefathers. Not the structures and stuff like that. What am I talking about?
State of mind.
The state of mind, and the state of mind that consists of what? What is in the state of mind of our ancient forefathers that we need to return to?
There's one God.
No question.
Principles.
Principles, no question. What else? Come on, what else? What else did our ancient forefathers say that we need to return to that state and
Race pride.
yeah, knowledge of self, race pride. What else?
Where there's unity.
There's yes. What else? Yes. 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 Yes.
Freedom. Return to.
Yes, freedom. No
Be
question.
one- And be one with our Father God.
There's no question. What you gonna say? Huh?
Lordship?
No question. Lordship. That's right.
Knowledge of our God.
There's no question. And that can only become by way of your what? Practice. It goes on to say this. Okay. We went there. Search it by its faculties. Know it by its virtues. They are more in number than the hairs of thy head. What's more in number? Virtues and what else? That's right. Look, search it by its faculties. Know it by its virtues. They are more in number than the hairs of thy head. What faculties? What faculties do we need to search when it comes to the soul? What is a faculty?
It's your ability.
It's ability. It's a certain type of ability that we possess. Now, what is an ability that we possess?
To reason. Think. See.
Well, seeing, yes. Hearing, yes. But now remember,
Recognize.
wait, but remember now what we're doing. We're identifying now physical things.
Yes,
The faculties is not physical.
Right.
The abilities are not physical. They are expressed by way of the physical body, but they're not physical.
Reasoning.
Reasoning is an action of the soul. That's an action. That's not a faculty. or is action a faculty?
Yes.
It's love of
The ability, yes, the ability to reason. Yes. The ability to reason, the ability to understand, the ability to thinking, understanding, reasoning, willing. Yes, these are abilities. They are faculties. That's good. But still, we've only named just a few because they're more in number than the heads. So that means there's so many other things that we can do that we don't even have an idea.
That's right.
Yes.
The definition it says for faculty in here,
Yes.
it says it's an inherent mental or physical power,
Yes.
aptitude or talent for doing something.
Yes. Yes. What can you do? What can you do?
For loving.
What can you do, Brother McGee, man? Real quick, what can you do? What
Love,
can you
learn
do?
to love instead of
You can do that. That is. Yes. And it deals with the mind. Come on, Mom.
Meditating in silence on the oneness of his love.
That's no question about that. Now, you know what? That takes practice.
Oh, yeah. And the reason why I say that, Brother Lee, and I agree with it, take practice, but the ability
Yes.
to be able to even attempt to do it.
Yeah.
Now, how good you can become when you do it is based on your practice.
Right. But the ability is not so much the ability, it is desire.
Right, okay, the desire.
Yes.
But
the
to
desire
have-
to want to do it.
Yeah, but to have that at your disposal,
Yes.
to be if you desire to want to do it,
That's the key. Yes.
if you want to do it, it's there for you.
Yes.
And I was thinking about that as a faculty
Yes.
because, I mean, it's just something I thought about.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on.
you can do all things as a matter of fact.
You can do it.
So that's a lot. That's why it says.
But then again, hey, look, babe, but hey, look. But what are all things? We can do all things, but what are all things that we can
Good
do?
or bad.
Identify.
Huh? What you say?
You said, wanted to identify.
What's all things?
Mm.
I mean, we have the attributes of God within us.
Right.
But we don't even know a lot of what those attributes are.
Right, that's real.
Because he cannot be what?
Subscribe.
Yes, we can do all things, but what are all things that we can do?
Right.
Choices.
Yeah, it comes from your choice.
All things are choice.
Well, no, the choice. You see, the choice is a selective process that you use to identify what you want to use.
In order to get it, you have to make the choice.
Well, if you make the choice first, how do you identify what you're making? What choice? What you're making a choice on what? If you don't know what you're choosing, how can you make a choice?
Do it.
You gotta identify what am I choosing? How will this choice give me the power that I need to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish? If you don't know, you just have the power of choice. But the advantage lies not in the possessing. It is the knowing to use it.
So the knowledge,
You gotta know what am I choosing to do.
Yeah.
being into the knowledge.
You can choose. Everybody got a choice. But do you know what to choose? Last time I had a choice and didn't know what to choose, I chose all kinds of stuff that I shouldn't have chose.
That's right.
But see, once I found out I could choose something, I didn't want to listen to nobody. I started making choices on my own with no guidance.
No guidance, no rules.
So, yeah, I got choice, but I don't know what to choose. We got to be taught what to choose.
That's right. That's right.
But
Come on.
Brother D-Ray said one thing, you have a choice to learn to love instead of hate. So
Yes.
if you choose to love,
Yes.
that's your choice.
That's your choice, yes. But you have something that you're choosing.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to have something to choose from.
In order to make sure.
We walk around here with choices. We always have choice.
Right.
A choice. We always show our power to choose has always been us. Ours.
Right. And some of them took decisions.
Always been ours. We've never not had a power to choose. Even when we were forced into slavery, we made a choice. That's what caused us to go in slavery in the first place.
So unconscious choice?
Whether your choices can be conscious or unconscious.
Yes.
It's dependent upon who's on the throne.
Yes, sir.
And brother leader, everybody didn't go in straight.
That's right.
That's right.
Some
That's
people
right.
died.
Someone said, you gotta take mine.
That's
They-
right. That's right. They made that choice and they used it.
Put everybody in state.
Everybody.
Yes.
But that's why we say Act 1, Act 2, we gotta make a choice.
We gotta make a choice.
Then we gotta act.
Yes.
We just can't make a choice and just stand around and look
Yes.
silly. We gotta make an action.
Yes, right. See, you gotta make a choice to be a Muslim. Or to be a practicing Muslim.
Everybody move on.
See, you gotta make a choice to practice.
Thought with purpose.
You have to, Mo. You have to. You know? And that's what's so intriguing to me about this science that we're being taught.
That's right.
There you go.
You see? Because we're entering into a phase of our development that helps us to make the proper choice.
That's
Praise
right,
God.
that's right.
Because you know why? We make the choice that's equivalent or that's in harmony with the law. Because we know by way of our choice, law governs all events. So to make our lives a certain way, we choose the law that assists us in having a better life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we have, and you know, and when just what you were saying, I just thought about it was, we have to choose to think our conditions can be better.
Yeah, that's right.
It ain't, see, some of our conditions may be okay,
Yeah,
the way we see it.
yeah,
And we're not willing to change
right.
our conditions.
That's right.
Because it has allows us the opportunity to accumulate things.
That's right.
But we have to make a choice to say, look, my conditions can be better other than the things I have already accumulated. That's a heck of a choice.
Yeah, yeah,
Especially when you think you got something.
yeah, yeah,
And be willing to say, look, this is not as important
yeah,
as me being free mentally
Yeah.
so that I can be a better person.
yeah, yeah.
That's a heck of a choice.
Babe, you got to choose against what you think
Come on.
in one perspective and what you think in another.
I hear you, sir, and that's real.
You got to make a choice now. How am I going to go this way
Come on.
or am I going to go that way?
Praise the Lord. That's real, sir.
Now, when you fail to make the choice, then you go in a direction that leads you away. See, people say, some, they want to put everything on God.
Mm.
But it's the will of man
Right.
that makes
That's
possible
what actually holy.
the action of the Holy Prayer.
That's right.
Not just Allah taking you and say, come on. No. It's your will that makes possible the action of the Holy Prayer.
Mhm.
And your will is in association with your choice. Because once you choose, you will it into action. So therefore, you really save yourself.
That's real.
Mhm.
You really live in heaven or hell because of the choice you make. Because you are the one that chose to create whichever one you experience. At least that's what I've learned. That's what my experience is based on, having chosen hell several times. So it says this. It says, think not with Arabia that one soul is parted among all men. Neither believe thou with the sons of Egypt that every man hath many. No, that as thy heart, so also thy soul is what? One. And it's you who plants more wrinkles on the soul. You plant them wrinkles on the soul. You're the one who raise it or debase it. You're the one who forgets the great talent that has been committed to your charge and it could not be given to you exalted by virtue. Or what? Deformed by vices. These must be thine. And then that thine, there is your choice. So you're the one who holds your soul in captivity, or you're the one who allows it to be free. On thy present choice depends thy future happiness. So fix not suddenly. Examine with care. Just don't jump into it. Examine it. Is this a benefit or is it to my detriment? Because you know your detriment can be made to look very appealing. And it will be just at the time that you're around those who don't even know that they're dead. Because that's how it comes. Remember, your lower self maneuvers you into the condition that's most appropriate for its strength. It maneuvers you. It starts to influence the way you think. And then you create a condition that gives it the appropriate environment to grow. See, if you're not in control, it'll take you and it will create a condition that will allow it to express itself.
Yes.
By way of your actions.
And appealing to your appetite.
That's what it does. That's what it does. And it makes those things not pleasing seem pleasing. It says, here. Doeth not the sun harden the clay? Doeth not the sun harden the clay? Doeth not soften? Doeth it not also soften the wax? As it is one sun that worketh both, even so it is one soul willeth contrariety. As the moon retaineth her nature, though darkness spread itself before her face as a curtain, so the soul remaineth perfect, even in the bosom of a fool. Because she is what she is. She is immortal, she is unchangeable, she is alike in all. Health calleth her forth to show her loveliness. And application does what? Although she shall live after thee, think not she was born before thee. What do you think that means? She shall live after who? If man can't die. Okay, I thought I could get you. I thought I could get you. Right. See, because when you read this, remember, you're reading about spirit, soul, flesh. And it has its proper, and sometimes it changes. And in the change, it's like you leave one plane to another. So you got to know when you leave the flesh, when you leave the plane of things made manifest. You got to know when you are on the soul plane, and you have to know when you're on the spirit plane. Remember, you do experience these things. And the language changes as you ascend. And if you're following, you are in harmony with the ascension. That's when you can tell the difference. Yeah, man. Look, y'all gotta finish reading this. Obviously, I am not going to complete this chapter. You all work on this.
That's right.
You know, because it's important for you if you are really trying to transition. Now, if you're not trying to transition, it means nothing. It just means it's something to talk about in Sunday school. Let me read, get a verse committed to my memory, and when my opportunity presents itself, I can interject something like I know what I'm talking about. But if it really means something to you, it will aid you in your transition.
Yeah.
See, you're changing, those of you who are changing, not the body, but the mind. And your mind must be ready for the change, because if you don't, you can get a shock. See, that shock can set you back.
Yeah.
If you're not prepared to deal with the shock. All right, peace.
Peace.
Islam, Moors.
Islam.
I'd like to thank our Grand Chief for his enlightenment, for his leadership in this Holy Divine Movement. I pray the Lord that we had a good Sunday school today, and that we have the things that we can hold, you know, things that we can discuss with ourselves. So that being said, on to our Grand Chief, who is the moderator of the Morristown Tupelo Medical Law, John Bay Force Instructors. That being said, I'd like to call the Assistant Grand Governor of Washington, D.C., from T.K. to read the warning. Can we cease all movement and get him and everybody attention?
Islam, Moors. First I rise and give praise to Allah, the great God of the universe, and I give honor to his holy and kind prophet, Noble Drew Ali, and I give honor to each and every one of you. It's a great day, Moors.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work in their homes or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, and freedom. And when these principles are violated, justice then must take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card, button, cease wearing their turban or fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet in the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sins by order of prophet Noble Drew Ali. Peace.
Peace.